Yo, mic check. What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of The Drop Podcast. I gotta say, it feels incredible to be here. I was actually not gonna do an episode today, but believe it or not, I decided that I wanted to because like my brain, dude. When I tell you, my brain was just going and going this morning. Um, Like, let me tell you something. I woke up and I was just on. I was just, man, I was ready to go. Whoops. All right, I keep doing this wrong, but that's cool. Dude, let me tell you, I was just I was having this, here's what I describe it. I was having this conversation with myself, you know what I mean? And it was helping me just like think through things and like I was debating with me, you know? Kind of posing against like, or not like against, because I don't want to make it seem like, you know, I'm against or you know, think I'm more intelligent than X or Y or Z, you know, because I'm not, and I don't believe that, right? um oh wait, let me tell you. Well, I don't, I was posing like it was a debate with someone who is a teacher, you know what I mean? And yeah, like I said, I don't want to pose myself as like more intelligent or even on that level, because these people, you know, they study for years and years and years. But it's kind of like, I know, excuse me, I know what I know, and that's not saying that I know more, but rather I know something, you know what I mean? And that means that I can enter a conversation with that small something that I know, and I can have this conversation. You know, it doesn't have to be a thing where it's like, oh, they know so much, it's like I couldn't even keep up. No. Enter that conversation. Pick up information. Just, if not anything, just to collect, just to collect pieces, you know, pieces of pieces of this, right? Like, you just want information just sitting in your head so that it can be there for either whenever you will understand, or sometime in the future, whenever maybe you do go to school, and so then you have that sitting back there, or I guess even just to break down, just to have something that you're working on, you know what I mean? Because, you know, it doesn't have to be this. What the heck? Oh, that's cool. That's cool. It doesn't have to be this thing where it's like you're afraid to have that conversation. You know what I mean? That's stupid. It's dumb. It shouldn't be that way. And you should be willing to be a fool for a second. It's just like, I feel like our feelings get involved and we want people to know how smart we are. Like, I feel like oftentimes we enter a conversation where we want people to know how smart we are, rather than have people just, I don't know, be smart themselves and give us information. It's like we put too much of us into these things, you know what I mean? But anyway, so my brain was firing, and I've also been thinking a lot, like, okay, how can I better this podcast? Because I know, like, the last few episodes, I've been kind of like, I mean, they've been good episodes, but just like, I'll get into the game for a second and then I'll lose like track of thoughts. So, like, how do I stay kind of on track? And I feel like part of the reason why that'll happen is probably because, like, I don't have um something thought out, like, which is good. Like, I don't want to have everything thought out. I want it to be this case where it's like I'm thinking through these things on real time. But at the same time, I think it's important to have uh some little bit of information, you know what I mean, just like saved up or stored up, you know what I mean? Um so here's to what I was kind of thinking on, and in terms of this. I feel like I'll fall off. I don't want to do that yet. So I wrote down kind of this conversation that I had, uh, all the talking points that I collected. And I think I might do this from now on, just as a way, something like a backdrop. Like, I still want it to be real raw conversation. So here's what I figured. As I think one thing I've been learning recently, which is hard for me to kind of digest, is that there's not one law of the land, right? It's like things are always different. And there's not really one way that you can just go about things. Like, there's always gonna be a second answer. I feel. And so here's what I was kind of exploring with my mind though. Oh yeah. Wait, hold on. Well, let me finish this thought though. So there's, like I said, there's always gonna be like a second, or not a second answer, but like life isn't so one-sided. Like there's always more like more situations. So it's like, if we're talking about, for example, when should you take care of the poor? I mean, the obvious answer is like, well, always. But I guess sometimes, well, that's not so much a good idea. It's not. I guess it's not so much when should you take care of the poor. Like, you should always, I guess, have a good heart. But I guess sometimes it's like, should you, like, if I have $10 in my pocket and someone who's broke needs that $10. Now there's two different philosophies on this, but should you always give that $10? That's a different story. So, and even more complicated, like, is socialist ideas always wrong? No, not necessarily either. So this is where I'm kind of coming from. Check this out, because this is good. I think this is actually really cool. So now we kind of like have those like, we've covered the bases. Now let me get into the conversation. So, oh yeah, well, real quick, what I was doing there is, like, I'm setting up a conversation, right? So that's kind of what I want to try to do from now on in the podcast, is I want to kind of set up this conversation beforehand so that I have a direction of where I want to take this podcast. So on that note, sometimes it will just be like, I'll have something ready that I might want to talk about if my brain is just firing. But just like the way that this podcast started, like, I didn't automatically want to go into that conversation. Like, it just didn't go there first. And so I let that happen. I just let the conversation just flow and do its own thing. So I'm still letting it be a relaxed thing, right? But it's like, but I'm coming from somewhere at the same time. I guess I'm just not meant to go over there. That's cool. But all right, so this is where I'm going with this conversation that I had this morning. So I was thinking about like a debate between capitalism and then like a socialist professor, and I don't know why, but for some reason I feel like professors tend to be socialists, which I don't know. I guess just a thought right off the top of my head. I mean, you are going through a schooling system, so it's like you're in education, and so I think a lot of professors are already more socialist leaning, And so I think that kind of drives in this mentality of uh, of a socialist mindset, because you look up to your teachers, right? And so your teachers are going to influence you in different ways. It's going to influence also what you believe in. And that's not a bad thing. Like it's a good thing, but it's good to remember that your teacher's in God. You know what I mean? So it's important to know that you should still question these things. You know what I mean? These ideas, because they're not set in stone. Matter of fact, nothing is ever really set in stone, like we were just talking about. A lot of times these situations are, in this instance, yes. In that instance, no. And I think it's weird. Just in my very small experience, it's like people are educated to be, I think, more thoughtful and more, like, professors that I meet are smart. You know what I mean? They're smart people, and they are very, very, very understanding. You know what I mean? And they also know all these things. So it's like they're not dumb. They're very, very intelligent. But then it's like, I don't know if it's like a guilt that, you've been in this easy system. I mean, you've studied, you've had a lot of stress, which could also have something to do about it. But I don't know. It's this weird thing though. And yeah, I don't know. I can't truly explain it. But that my theory is that somehow it got implemented or implanted in somewhere, which probably came from somewhere. I don't know. But at the same time, you're dealing with young students. You know what I mean? Which keeps you young. So that could also be a part of it. Because I do think that I don't think teachers are inept to insecurity. Inept, is that the word? I think teachers do feel some kind of insecurity about the relationship with students and want to be the smart, intelligent teacher. You know what I mean? Like I think that's something, like one of the struggles of being a teacher is being that person that people look up to for guidance. And it is a struggle, because it's a hard thing to deal with whenever people are looking to you for guidance. And it's hard to, one, keep your ego low and be willing to admit that, I am wrong, but listening to some of Tamar Kushner's stuff, it's like, it's okay to be wrong, because you can tell your kids, like, you can tell a kid that you're wrong. See, kids have this thing where they will, it's like they will see, a lot of people have this misconception. We'll start here. A lot of people have this misconception that kids are kind of like these receiving entities. Like, they'll just receive any information that you give them, and that they're dumb. Well, one, you can convince kids of things, but also kids aren't stupid. Kids are very, 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 very smart. Here's, ooh, I didn't know that. And here's where I'm coming from. So if you tell a kid, you say, "Hey kid, did you know that or how about this? This was the experiment." So what had happened was, there was this man, and there are two people, right? And one person took this this item, right, and showed it to a kid, and was like, what is this? And then the kid, so So what you set up is the kid is looking at this item, and there's two guys exploring this item, trying to figure out what this is. One of them says, "Oh, this is a screwdriver." I don't know if that was the item, but he says that. Okay, so the kid has just acknowledged that this person holds information on the fact that this is a screwdriver. Okay. Okay, so hold on. So then if you take those if you take those people, and then there's another object that goes by, and you ask, "Oh, what is this?" And then one person says, "Oh, this is a boink," and the other says, "This is a pidge." Okay, who's the kid gonna believe? Like on average, or the majority of the time, the kid is going to believe the person that knew that the screwdriver was called the screwdriver. So this kid picked up information that the person who knew about the screwdriver knows names. And the way they know this is they asked the kid afterward, so they had another person come in and say, "Oh, this is cool. What is this?" And oh shoot. And that was so funny. She said, "Let's blow this joint." Hold on. The prisoner supervisor, Dragon Tank owner's manual. The tank head repairs body damage. It contains a shield that prevents damage by lightning. Prevents damage by lightning and fire. Unless the head can be defeated, the tank is unbeatable. Okay. Sounds like we're about to get into a fight. Hold on. Let me check up on. Okay, level 8. We're both good. Okay, so where was I? So this is what I'm talking about. This is why I need to write things down. But this is good though, because this is the example of like I was not even planning on talking about this, but like my brain just went here. And that's good because like I'm more passionate about this conversation than I would be about that one. I guess in this moment. But that is a good conversation, so I might have to have that next time. But anyway, as I was saying though, is that what I was saying, shoot, I don't know what to do. But what I was saying is, so you have this kid experiences these two people saying, "Oh, this is a X," and then the other person said, "Oh, this is a Y." So this kid receives information that I don't know, person Y knows about things regarding names of materials. So this is good because, this just shows like a level of intelligence. Like this kid is aware of certain information. But then you would think, okay, so does that kid think that this person is more intelligent? Not necessarily, because then this gets even more interesting, because then if you then have the kid receive information on let's say you ask the kid like, "Oh, how does X work?" And then the kid will say, and then you have person X solve the problem, and then person Y okay, this is bad. So person X solves the problem. Person Y knew the name of the object. So then you could say, oh, what is this? And then the kid will say, oh, it's whatever person Y said it was. But then if you ask, or if you say, oh, I think it's broken, and person X showed the kid, I think this is how it went, showed the kid how to fix it. The kid would do, well, I guess that makes sense. Well, anyway, but I don't know. I have to revisit that. I have to revisit the experiment. But the cool thing about it is basically it showed that kids are aware of kids are conscious of in thinking. You know, kids are breaking apart in understanding certain things about people, like the fact that this person holds some level of knowledge in their head that this other person doesn't. And I forgot why we were going here. I think that was related with maybe like why college students trust their professors and how this works. But then at the same time, the problem with that is your professors are trying to be cool, you know what I mean? And so it's like you have this imbalance of interest, I think, with the fact that, you know, if you're trying to be cool and you have bad information, then, well, frankly, you're not going to get very far, because well, that's kind of obvious, isn't it? But, well, no, because then you kind of have like a self-serving idea of the world, because it's like, okay, like what, or like what do these kids want to hear? Like, you're kind of feeding the kids what they want to hear, you know, in the first place. You know, I mean, not in the first place, but in the second place, if you are like in serving the people. Huh. This is so weird. But anyway, so then how do we have this conversation though? Is I do want to talk about that. How do we have this conversation with people, and then especially professors, because I think professors have this idea, like, you know, like I'm a professor, like, what, you know, what do you know? You know what I mean? You're just XYZ, you don't study this stuff. You know what I mean? I do think ego gets involved with teachers. All right. So I was thinking about this morning, though, and I was just like having this conversation, and I was thinking about, okay, so where would you start from? Well, one, I think it's important to pose the idea that there's information that is unknown, and also the fact that both things are sometimes okay, right? It's like sometimes there's not one correct answer for everything. All right. So one, open up the possibility that things aren't necessarily 100%. And that's especially easy because, you know, in certain situations, like, what is socialism? Well, in socialism, it's like the government allows free market, but then doesn't. So the government allows free market, but at the same time, the government doesn't well, the government is involved at this end. Like the government takes care of certain things in society that could be taken care of by public or private companies, right? So it's kind of like you make certain things public, and that's very interesting. Oh man, I hate this one. I hate the wasteland. Also, there's gonna be a race later on, which is gonna suck. But anyway, so back to the point though. Like especially in socialism, because that's such a large threshold. Like there's 100%. Like there's areas where I do think it's good to have. It's good to have. Hold on. It's good to have a government involved, like maybe roads or safety and yeah. So yeah, in those very specific cases, I think it is important. You call this money, all that good stuff. I know she's 11. She's my weakest. I guess she's not my weakest, but she could use an upgrade. Also, I could go with this and this. All right, so yeah, so there is a balance. Okay, so then where do you go from there? Because it's like, okay, like where does the conversation go? Because it's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, there can be a balance, but all right, so what is this balance? And I think this is what our debate should be on, not capitalism and not capitalism and socialism, because really that it depends on you, right? It really does. It depends on you. And here's where I'm coming from. You some food at Aries Domes, northeast, you get past the lab. Beasts don't react to weapons like guns and swords. Huh. Well, that's bad news because that's all I have. Okay, but so if we have a conversation about that instead. So well, that's a lot of things. You know what I mean? That's a lot of information that I think we're now struggling to deal with. So what is our solution? I think in order to have this conversation, we need to have a conversation about goals. Okay, so what is so then it also becomes not a conversation of, or not like an ignorant conversation of like, oh, what is right, what is wrong, but now it's more so a conversation of what are we trying to achieve. So now it's what are we gonna do? Okay, where is there a problem, and what are we gonna do about that problem? It's a forward thinking. Well, it's forward thinking, and that's much more important than having a debate about the way things should be. Okay, but sacrifice a sight scope, but then I could give her this. Whatever, forget it. I'll do that. So then, but then it's a conversation. It's not an ignorant conversation. Like it's a different conversation, and now you're worried about progress. You're worried about progress instead of just being right. Okay. Auto attack / hit plus. Nah. Okay, so I think that's where you should start. You should start with, okay, what is the problem and what can our solution be? Okay, so then hold on, I gotta get rid of this guy because this is ridiculous. Kick your butt. Alright, so to me my concern with socialism is I'm worried about I wanna keep progress. I wanna keep people able to move forward and achieve their goals and also monetize on their dreams. And I also want incentive to get more money, besides buying stuff. But it's like, I mean, you could buy stuff and buy stuff and buy stuff, but what's the incentive to live a better lifestyle? What's the incentive to buy a nicer house? Or which I guess the incentive then could be like family, but I mean, as we're growing, it's like families are going down. It's like there should be incentive, you know what I mean, to get better things. Oh, that's so annoying. How do I stop that? There should be incentive to get better things. This is what I think. And not only that, but that's a huge driver in economy too. Like, you want better things? Part of that is working for that, and also the desire to make more money. Like, you think someone like Jeff Bezos cares about the speed that we can get our packages at? No. Jeff Bezos wants money. He doesn't care about books. But really good things have come out of Jeff Bezos' business. And we all judge him for having X amount of money. Well, one, he doesn't even have that money. He's controlling that money. There's a difference. See, people also get confused. It's like extremely rich people have so much money. No. They don't have so much money. They control money. Which is very, very, very different. Okay. Ooh, low bow. Very different. But anyway, as I was saying, either way, like, even if you want that much money, it's a good, well, one, it's a good thing to work, right? So, I wouldn't ever want someone to, I wouldn't want to like what if someone's wanting to make money, they're putting into the economy. So it's like you're only hurting us by saying you shouldn't want to make more money. You know what I mean? And by driving the incentive down, it's a terrible thing to do, if you ask me. But anyway, what I am concerned about though is keeping, one, the ability to migrate through different classes and gain more resources. I want that to be very easy, but that also means that you can go down, on that. You can go down more easy too. If you don't have all these protections, you can go down. But also, if you have all these protections, it makes it more difficult to go up. Because like if you get up, now you have certain ways, and you get to a certain point, you have certain ways that you can avoid those high level taxes. Like income, income you can avoid by investing more. So investment is good though, because that is why we have homes and why we have a drive for building infrastructure and et cetera, and startups and stuff, and you know what I mean. Like the whole process of economy is the going in and going out. So you don't want too much saving, but you want the flow of money. And part of the way that you're going to get the flow of money, well, that's through leveling up in capitalism, the progression of capitalism, because very successful people come from investments, I guess high income. So if you work a high income job, so one, you're driving down the incentive for income, because that's where tax comes from. Tax comes from weird. Okay, what can we do? Didn't think so. Okay, but what was I saying? Tax, or the highest amount of tax is income tax, right? All right. So what else can we do? Also investment tax. So whenever you cash in on your investments, so there's an incentive to never cash in on your investment. So if you have socialism, which is good, but can also, I mean, I guess it is kind of good, because then that pushes to constantly move forward. But either way, still, like you're making it harder for you're making it more difficult for people who want to get to that level to move up. And the reason is because it's easy to make money whenever you have money, but to get money, that first million, is difficult to do. One, because I mean, if you have a family, like, security is a big deal. Okay. So one thing that I think we forget is that this isn't just a, how do I put it? This isn't just a an economic policy, but these are social things too. Economy, these economic systems like socialism and what's the other one? Socialism, capitalism, and communism. These are social practices as well, and that's important. Like, you can't forget that, because it's like that's half of the deal. The government economy works because we let it work, because we want it to work. It works because of us. So that's a huge piece of it that you can't just leave out because it might be inconvenient. Okay, so where do we go from here? So at the same time, all right, and here's where I'm coming, or here's why this is true, because while you have economy, or while you have communism, like for example in China, you can also have capitalism in economy. So this is like, if you look at China, if you go there, they have McDonald's, they have all these stores. They're probably more free market than the United States is. So that also shows that it's okay to have, some socialism. But like I said, we're trying to find. Oh wait, hold on. Did you really come from the dome to the west? Yes. I see. Not that I care. Huge computer storage. Come from no. Old factory protodome. Yes, a bunch of robots. Okay. Dome does peak. Alright. But I don't know. I hope I explained that well. I mean, here's also what I was thinking about. Like, so we're running out of time, so I just want to run through this really quick, and then maybe this can be a conversation next time. But I also another thing that I find is that in argument, I think ego ruins healthy argument, because a lot of times like people come in with like attitude, you know what I mean? Excuse me. But there's no reason, you know what I mean? It's like, hold on. That. And get some of this action. Boom. Alright. Over here, hold on, let me explain better. So the reason why this came up is because this person in my head, this conversation that I was having, the person in my head, she said, she said that shoot, now I just told you what the person in my head was. So this person in my head, I had her say, like she like scoffed at me, like she gave me attitude, like acting like I was dumb, and I was like, how would I handle that situation? Because I don't think I would handle it well, but it's one of those things that you should learn how to handle that, right? Once in the vicinity of the stockroom will be attacked. You should learn how to deal with that, because a lot of times we get offended because we also have our egos involved in things, and it's a weird. Oh shoot! I was about to. Well, all right. I guess we'll end this podcast after I finish beating this guy. All right. Maybe I should take care of those guys first. Two joining together for a Delta attack. Oh, shoot. This is bad. Dang. You saw how much that took? How much of that took? That is insane. That's ridiculous. He's killing me already. He's knocking me out. This. Oh, okay. There's the timer. Well, guys, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. This is a good episode, though. I feel like this system works. You know what I mean? This system. Come on. Oh, you son of a bitch. This system works. This system is good because, one, I think it influences me to try, you know what I mean? Like it encourages me to move forward, right? So like I feel like, well, not move forward, but like think through some of my thoughts before I actually start, the thoughts. And I think that'll be beneficial for me in the long run, or not in the long run, but for this podcast, because it's like I have these ideas kind of put together already, right? But then the other thing is I noticed like my energy, like especially in this podcast, like I think my energy went down, or I felt good for the most part, but there was a point where my energy did kind of, I think, suffer for a second, and I recognized that, and that's something that I'm for sure gonna work on. But what does that mean? Is he about to kill me? 4. Is he about to explode? Oh shoot. Oh come on, man. Come on, man. I feel like this is gonna be it. Oh heck no. Zero. Revive the bit, but oh dang. So I guess maybe it is a good idea to. This is bad. Guys, you might witness my first death. My first death of the season. Unless I make it. But it's not. It's looking real gloom and doom. Maybe what I'll do is instead I'll try and keep one of the people alive, because it's these delta attacks that really kill. The 3 join together for a delta attack. It's terrible. Alright, so now that we have that, give some aura to him. This game is so good, man. Like, just the way that's designed down to the fighting system, like 50, jeez. I will say though, I want to say this. Oh shit. Come on, man. Oh, you such a... Can I revive? No. Guys, you know what? We'll just call this the first L. So we took a L. I gotta be honest, I'm kind of proud of it. It was a good L. I feel like we learned a lot from this experience. I feel like we really developed in ourselves, in our abilities. And honestly, I'm proud. I'm proud of us. I think we did some great things here today. And that's beautiful. That's, it wasn't easy to get here. But we made it. This podcast is going really great. I'm really excited about this podcast. I'm just gonna go through this conversation because it's long and annoying. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I can't wait for the next one. And it'll be a while until you guys see this one, because I kind of have, like, everything is all packed up nicely, or I have a whole bunch of episodes waiting to be used. So yeah, like I have a storage of episodes. But anyway, but I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, nevertheless. And I guess with everything all being said, I'm gonna check you guys later. See ya.